Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everybody for being here this afternoon as I join the Division of Parks and Recreation in announcing plans to enhance our youth football and cheerleading program. Today's announcement illustrates a cooperative effort, a team effort on the part of many folks. Particularly, I wish to thank the staff of the Division of Parks and Recreation for their leadership in bringing forward many of the policy changes that you will hear from in just a few moments. Also joining us today are a few of our volunteers. We couldn't operate these youth programs without the active involvement and dedication of coaches, managers, and park supervisor staff. And I thank each of you for taking time out of your day to join us this afternoon. Particularly, I'd like to also highlight and identify members of the mayor's administrative team, our Commissioner of General Services, Mr. Jeff Reed, Darlene Haley, our Athletics Director, Coach Anthony Hawkins in our Athletics Department. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce and welcome our new Director of the Division of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Brad Chambers. Thanks for being here, Brad.
Thank you.
We're here in Douglas Park, a park which is nearing its centennial anniversary in just 2 short years. But our presence in this park is illustrative, both in significance and in sentiment, to the important role that our youth football program and cheerleading programs play in neighborhoods all across our city. Last year, our program served kids in 6 parks, including Constitution, Idle Hour, Martin Luther King, Shiloh, and Southland. I'm certain these neighborhoods, just as those that surround Douglas Park, take great pride in our youth programs and benefit from the vitality and energy that only kids can bring to the ball fields on any given Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon throughout the fall season. A brief history of our program: the Division of Parks and Recreation has offered youth tackle football programming in our city parks for over 40 years. The City Youth Football League is a training league and is often one of the first, if not the first, introduction many area youth have in organized athletics and in working in a team environment. The program has historically and currently serves youth ages 7 through 12. Our program provides participants with top-rate safety equipment, including a helmet, shoulder pads, leg protective gear, all at a cost of $55. For eligible families, scholarships are available to defray registration costs on an as-needed basis. And in 2013, the youth football program had over 400 kids to participate. And that's what brings us here today. We want to send a message to our constituents, our customers, and our partners that the Lexington Division of Parks and Recreation is committed to youth athletic programming. Today, we are intentionally taking the extra step towards engaging our youth and their families. We're adapting with hopes to offer a better experience in our program. And at this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium our mayor, the Honorable Jim Gray. During my time in office, the mayor has proven to be a champion and advocate for youth engagement. And over the years, the mayor and I, on many issues, have had many different discussions. And by now, I'm surely familiar that he's familiar with my frequent sports-related analogy. I'm thankful for his partnership today, his commitment, and his presence here in Douglas Park. And now to share a few words, Mayor Jim Gray.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Chris. Well, yeah, I love Chris's sports analogies. He is absolutely the best at it. And so I might pick up one of his by saying today is a day when we are crowding the winner's circle. And that is not just something that's remarkable, but in many respects, it's something that's customary in Lexington. I want to thank everybody for being here today to talk about programs for young people. Many of the things that I've learned over the last 3.5 years as mayor remind me that I often say that even on a bad day, it's a great job. And why is that? Well, because our city is full of people who care about community, and that's what you see here today. Hello, Diane. You know, we always don't agree about everything, but there's one thing that we always do agree on, and that is that our young folks, our young people, are our first priority. In 2011, seems just a short 2.5 years ago now, when Councilmember Ford and I formed the Commission on Youth Development and Public Safety, we identified the need for more youth activities. And since then, we focused a lot of attention, as Chris said, intentional attention, on growing new and expanding activities for young people, working hand in hand with citizens, volunteers, churches, and youth organizations across Lexington. Examples of this: the I Do initiative, Partners for Youth, the Summer Youth Employment Program that today is up from 150 interns 2 years ago to 225. That is a 77% increase. So that shows movement in the right direction and continuous improvement, positive opportunities. Now, a couple of folks that helped us make progress in these opportunities for our young people are here today, and I want to recognize them. Now, Chris has already recognized members of Parks and Recreation led by Commissioner Jeff Reed and our new director, Brad Chambers. But Councilmember Ford has done a remarkable job, consistent, persistent, right there, dedicated, committed. Glenn Brown, our Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, who's right there back, and he's right there behind Channel 36. Glenn Brown is the Deputy Administrative Officer for the city, former jailer for the city, and nobody's committed more to young people than Glenn. And then Laura Hatfield, who is our director for our Partners for Youth program. Laura has a remarkable skill to think strategically, to lift up at the treetops and examine the full horizon, and then drop down to the dance floor, drop down on the ground, boots on the ground, and actually pull people together in remarkable and inspired ways. So I'm mentioning them, but really this winner's circle includes everybody that is here, and so many in our neighborhoods, Diane, across this city, especially right here. So I want to thank all of you for helping us to expand our activities for young people. Programs like this, yes, we learn over time that it's these sort of initiatives that make Lexington a special place and the place to be, to grow up. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. It's good to see the youth here this afternoon. A lot of them are familiar, a lot of them, Mayor, and members of the staff. I had an opportunity to coach here at Douglas Park. And one of the cliches, not an anatomy, Mayor, that I used to always say, the most important play of every game is the next play. You can't replay what we've just done. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're hoping to bring forward in 2014. And for the information along that lines that everybody has gathered here to discuss, I wish to call on someone who has an in-depth knowledge of the game of football. Cornell Burbage is here today in his official capacity as Assistant Athletics Director for the Division of Parks and Recreation. But it's his personal perspective as a Lexington native, as a former football player at the University of Kentucky, as I am, as a former professional football player. All of these perspectives and attributes serve our government well in the public service we offer to youth, football, and cheerleading. In relation to instructional aspects of the game, Cornell has valuable experience at both the high school and the collegiate level. To further explain this year's current program changes, I welcome Coach Cornell Burbage.
Thank you. A little bit about myself is I was actually raised here in this city, and where I started playing football was through Parks and Rec. And as a young child, watching my older brothers play, who actually played in Douglas Park, I always wanted to actually play ball. And through my first I'm gonna say experience of playing this game was through this program, and with me actually seeing the changes actually made, because I think everything that you go through, you have to make positive changes, and this program has been very productive for a lot of athletes that have actually came through here. There's one playing in the NFL now, and it's Winston Guy. Winston Guy played, I think he played for the Constitution Patriots. But the list can go on and on and on. You know, me, Mark Logan, Eric Shelton. Let me see. A kid played with my son. His last name was Bailey. He went and played for North Texas State. They all started in this program. So I take pride in trying to make this program one of the strongest programs around. Now, we made changes, and we had to make changes to be consistent that's around the whole United States and around the state and around the city. So the first thing we actually did, we had to change the birthdays, where the birthday is August the 1st. So now we can catch kids who had to wait a year because they may have been born on August the 2nd or August the 4th, where it used to be our birthdays was August the 31st. So that should attract more kids that can come to our program. So you have to be 7. If you're 7 on the date of August 1st, then you're eligible to actually play. Also, we had to change the weight limits, just because of kids' natural growth. You know, kids are bigger, faster, stronger these days. So to stay consistent with our competitors and guys around the whole country and around the state, we all came together, me and Anthony Hawkins, Darlene Haley, and we sit in, and with the help of Councilman Ford, we all talked about the weight limit. So we actually made the weight limit a little bit more consistent with everybody else's. I don't want to go into any detail about it, but there are changes there. So those are really was some of the bigger changes that we had to really make, because we was losing, like I said, we was losing a lot of kids to like the middle schools because of the age. Because some kids would actually turn 13 August the 20th. So they was too old. But if they 12 August the 1st, whereas other leagues around the country and other leagues around the state, that's their birthdays for their youth programs. So that's why we actually changed that. So we feel that we can get more kids here. So if there's anything you'd like to ask me, you can actually ask me if you want to know about my whole background. Like I said, I played for the University of Kentucky. Went on and I played in the NFL. I played for the Dallas Cowboys for 4 years. Went on from there, played in Canada for two years. So this has been my whole life, and I have worked at Parks and Rec for the past 7 years, and I always had an interest of helping kids, helping youth, the whole inner city, just any youth. Because if I didn't get the help growing up, no telling where I would be at, you know. And this was one of the programs that really got me started on my whole journey. And that's what I always tell kids. It starts here. You got to dream big. You got to have goals. And it starts right here, because you are going to be surrounded around great coaches, people that really care about you, and no telling where that can really take you in the future. Because I always go back to my first coach, and his name was Coach Gregory. And he taught me everything I need to know about this game. And this game teaches you teamwork. It teaches you time management. It just teaches you all type of aspects about life. So with all these youngsters here, I really commend these guys because of all the hard work that they put out there on that field. So if it's any questions, you're free to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. As we're wrapping up, I want to again thank Coach Burbidge and Coach Hawkins and Darlene, Coach Haley, for their changes brought forth that Coach Burbidge just mentioned. Also, particularly of interest to our parents who are considering signing up, the deadline for registration has been extended to Friday, August the 22nd. We know that school begins in Fayette County on Wednesday, August 13th. We hope to have registration packets available for our local schools. Again, August 22nd is the deadline to register in person at the Dunbar Center on Upper Street or online at our website. But also of convenience, and this is something that our coaches and volunteers have advocated over many years, is to return sign-ups to our neighborhood parks. So on Saturday, August 9th, this coming Saturday, and next Saturday, August 16th, will be sign-ups in the respective parks that I mentioned earlier. That's Douglas, Constitution, Idle Hour, Shiloh, Southland, and Martin Luther King. In closing, there's also a lot of facility improvements that are going on. In addition to what we're trying to do with programming, the administration and the council has allocated funds for athletic field expansion and reconstruction at Idle Hour Park, at Shiloh Park, and right here at Douglas Park. So we hope that the youth will enjoy those amenities as well as the surrounding neighborhoods. I want us to be very clear that we are here to make a call. We're calling on volunteers, parents, and youth alike to please explore and take advantage of our youth programming at Parks and Recreation this fall. Of all the parks, I want to end by highlighting just one park and share this story. Here's another analogy, Mayor. As was told to me, and that is the success out at Martin Luther King Park, MLK Park. We have with us two longtime coaches, Coach K.T. Smith and League Supervisor Charlie Fields. And the legend, as I'm understanding, is that in the 80s, they organized and participated in youth football at Meadowthorpe Park. And in the 1980s, Urban County government opened and developed Martin Luther King Park. And they received a call from then Mayor Scotty Basler, asking them would they consider going to Martin Luther King Park, which at the time was a new park, but it was void of programming. And 25 years later, they are still engaged with our youth, and we want to commend them for that, and also make such a similar call as Mayor Basler made at the time to ask folks to still support Parks and Rec. Thank everybody for being here. As Coach Burbidge mentioned, we'll open up the floor for questions if there are any. Thank you guys for being here. We hope to see you sign up here before August 22nd. Thanks again.